So, have you ever really stopped to think about what happens when our literally unlimited human wants crash head on into a strictly limited pool of natural wealth? I mean, imagine for a second that all of humanity shares just one massive bank account. Every single day, we're making billions of withdrawals, right? We're building cities, feeding our families, powering our whole modern lives. But what is the ultimate cost of all this relentless spending? How do we stop this account from hitting absolute zero?
Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking on a massive, high-stakes audit of the planet's assets. We're going to look really closely at our shared vault, what we actually have in there, how fast we're blowing through it, and most importantly, how we can manage it all before we go totally bankrupt.
Here is our agenda for today. First, we'll ask, what are resources? Then, classifying our natural wealth, followed by the ground we stand on and the dirt on soil. Finally, we'll wrap up with planning for tomorrow and a sustainable future.
Let's jump right into Section 1. What are resources? Defining Earth's assets.
There's this really common misconception that basically everything out there in nature is automatically a resource. Actually, scratch that. It's not. An asset only becomes a true resource when it provides us, human beings, with specific utility and value. Think about it. A rock is literally just a rock until human need and human technology figure out how to turn it into a building material or extract some precious metal from it. It's this awesome intersection of the physical world and human ingenuity that turns something into a measurable resource. Our water, our land, our forests, even our technology.
Moving on to Section 2, classifying our natural wealth, organizing the vault.
Okay, so the first absolutely crucial division we need to make is based on origin. On one side, we've got our living, breathing assets, our biotic resources. These come directly from living organisms. We're talking plants, animals, and yep, even us humans. Then, on the flip side, we have abiotic resources. These are the non-living foundational building blocks of our world, the rocks, the metals, the air we breathe. And knowing whether an asset is living or non-living, that completely changes everything about how we interact with it. And this next part brilliantly highlights our actual spending limits, exhaustibility. So renewable resources like solar energy and wind, they have this incredible ability to bounce back and replenish naturally. But then we have non-renewable resources. These are strictly limited, and they take literally millions of years to form in the earth. Think coal and petroleum. The danger here is super clear, right? Overuse of non-renewables leads to permanent depletion. Once they're gone, there is no getting them back. Now, it's pretty fascinating to see who actually holds the keys to all these assets. Starting at the ground level, we have individual resources. These are your privately owned farms or houses. Then zoom out a bit to community resources. These are accessible to everyone locally, like your neighborhood parks. Zoom out again, and we hit national resources. These belong to the country entirely, like rivers and massive forests. And finally, the whole shebang, international resources. These sit completely beyond national boundaries, like the vast open oceans. To finish organizing our vault, we look at development status. This basically tells us what we're spending today versus what we're keeping tucked away. Potential resources are out there, but we just aren't using them yet, like untapped coastal wind energy. Developed resources are the ones fully surveyed and currently powering our world today, like active mines. Then there's stock, stuff that's available, but we honestly just lack the technology to use it right now. And lastly, reserves. These are perfectly usable today, but we are deliberately choosing to save them for the future, like the water sitting in untapped dams.
All right, Section 3, the ground we stand on, auditing land resources.
When we look at land as a resource, we see it divided up in very specific, purposeful ways. We carve it up for agriculture, we maintain forestry, we mine it, and we build these massive, sprawling networks of housing and transport. But here's the thing. These use patterns aren't just random. They are strictly dictated by physical factors like the local climate and soil type, mixed together with human factors like population density and our current tech. It's like a giant puzzle. But here is the major red flag in our audit. While land is absolutely essential, our human activities are rapidly degrading its quality. Deforestation, overgrazing by livestock, aggressive mining, dumping industrial waste. We are systematically trashing the very ground we stand on. Make no mistake, this land degradation is a massive glowing liability on our global balance sheet.
Section 4, the dirt on soil, the essential asset.
Now, zooming in, it's really crucial to understand that soil doesn't just magically appear out of nowhere. It's the result of a painfully slow chain reaction process.
It kicks off with the gradual weathering of solid rocks. Then, the local climate heavily influences how it breaks down. Next, millions of microscopic organisms add their biology to the mix. And the final, most critical ingredient? Time. Immense amounts of time. We're talking ages just to build a few centimeters of the stuff. And because India's soil wealth is so incredibly diverse, the actual dirt beneath your feet literally dictates the local economy. For example, alluvial soil in the plains is intensely fertile, while black soil, that's the absolute gold standard for growing cotton. Red soil dominates the southern regions, laterite soil forms in super high rainfall areas, arid soils out in the deserts, and forest soil clings to the mountains. This map of soil isn't just a map of dirt, it is quite literally a map of economic potential. Yet, despite its immense value, we are losing our grip on it. The removal of that top, highly fertile layer is called soil erosion. Sure, natural forces like wind and water are constantly chipping away at it, but human recklessness through really poor land management is massively accelerating the loss. We are literally letting our most valuable currency just wash away in the rain. So, to protect our investment, we absolutely have to fight back. We need structural solutions to lock the soil in place and keep it fertile. That means afforestation, planting massive networks of trees so their roots physically grip the earth. It means terrace farming on steep hillsides, contour plowing to break up water flow, and strip cropping. Guys, these aren't just quaint farming techniques, they are critical wealth preservation strategies.
Section 5. Planning for tomorrow. The investment plan. You know the old saying, you can't manage what you haven't measured? Well, in a diverse, massive landscape like India, this high-stakes planning requires 3 very distinct steps. Step 1 is identification, taking a massive, comprehensive national inventory. Step 2 is building a proper planning structure, like an institutional framework to actually manage it all. And step 3 is perfectly aligning our resource development goals with the right technology. It's a highly calculated, systematic approach to make sure we don't overdraw our accounts.
And that brings us to Section 6, a sustainable future, the ultimate goal.
Sustainable development is, without a doubt, the most important concept we're covering today. It's basically the practice of using resources in a way that meets our immediate, present-day needs while absolutely ensuring we aren't compromising the ability of future generations to meet theirs. It is the ultimate balancing act, right? It means making sure the vault isn't completely empty when our kids go to open it.
When you strip away all the complex classifications and the multi-step planning, it all boils down to one stark, undeniable equation. Resources are limited, but human wants are unlimited. It is this fundamental, underlying tension between human nature and the Earth's physical capacity.
Smart use, combined with some serious long-term thinking, is the absolute only way we achieve that sustainable future. So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative question to think about. When you interact with the world around you today, are you simply spending Earth's wealth, or are you actively investing in its sustainable future? The choice of how we manage our ultimate shared legacy? Well, that's entirely up to us. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep on learning.